efficiency, efficiency.
So when you look at it, the first thing is this is where you generate your model. You put your repository here. If there is any utility class, you can put them here. I'm just giving you examples project structure, but you may decide to come up with any better structure. So here, you right click here, you generate entity classes from the database. You have it. Is this student? Is it this one? Or student table? The name of the database. Yeah, the name of the database. Is it table? Is this? Oh, no, is it this one? What is your database password? When you people work, when you work, student reg, you have customer. Let me see which database is it student? The student you use student. Okay, the name of your database is student. Okay, instead of student table, is there a way to edit this? Okay, let's define another database. Let's edit this property file. What we only need from this property file is this. Let's first copy the property file. All this property file, you are not to do anything with it. Don't be scared that you are going to copy, I mean, you are going to copy. The first thing is I will modify this application property file, paste it here, so that we now change it to, you understand, the username of the database, then the password to come here. What's the name of the database is what? Student. The password is what? Is it root? The password is capital C. Capital U. Capital U. Okay. So let's say that that is fine. So the other time when we work, we disable these two properties file. This is JPA and then my SQL data will disable them. So let's go and enable it so that we come back again. Then another thing is we generate entity classes from database, which is should come here. You have to choose a new connection and you are choosing MySQL database. And by extension, you have a student database. You have to put the password again here. Capital C U D A T A 5. So you can remember password. You can test it if it's fine. It is not fine because of this. So because of that URL, so you have to you can make it this way because you are connecting to MySQL 8.0. So you can test it to should be successful. Why?
I think the driver name has changed.
Put it down. Drop it.
Láre, Láre. Okay, ṣebí ó ti lẹ ọmọ yìí, you are not multitasking. Ṣé he's supposed to, if it's not successful, let's try and create a desktop application. Mm, So from there we are going to test if TT classes from database will be fine. Let's see if we are not doing it right. Uh, and even this one is fine. Àrí ìdọ̀bọ̀ dé ní tí mo ní kó lọ sí ìwé látẹ̀kọ̀. So current, let me test it from here. That one is that is proven. Most of the time, if you are working with a web application, it's giving you issues like that. Just come and you see this one doesn't have primary key. All those one that doesn't have primary key, you can't generate anything. So let's try and generate for these two, so that we will now move the table into our own application. The name query we don't need all this persistent.xml in normal web application. Change this one to this. You understand this already. So what you need to do is move your table from here. Yeah, get it, and copy it and put it on your project model here. Can you see it? So we have two tables now. We have this and that. So now we have student reg. You see this student reg is what we are going to save. You understand? We have a department name, full name, and you understand? So what I want to do is this. It's already on. It's on already. So you now create a repository for this. Ordinarily in the other project we did, what you normally do is you create a repository. So what you do in the creating repository here is easy. You just create an interface class. You understand? This is the convention I normally use. I just so that it will be. So you now extend this class, extend JPA repository. You put the class, you put the the primary key, the data type of the primary key of this class is what you will put here. You see, this is the convention you need to follow. Just follow the syntax. Here, if the primary key is integer, you see it is integer, it is not long. So I have to change this one to what? Integer. You see, anytime you extend this class, you already have all the CRUD operation. You understand? All those save, delete, or update, it already there. So all this one is, you need to inject this one into your controller. Ordinarily, what you used to do there, you say if you want to come into the controller, let's say here, at the very top here, you understand? We can have the details here. What you normally do is when you call it, you now say repo is equal to new this, right? But here, you don't need that. There is what we call auto wire. You say at auto wired. So auto wire we prevent is a spring dependency injection that enable you to auto wire. You don't need to say new is equal to new. If you have a class, if you annotate the class with at component, you can use at to wire and make necessary call. Do you get this? This is a convention way of doing it. I'm telling you that when you create a repository here, you come out to wire it here. Now, another thing you need to know is when we are saving students, we are adding students here. If you want to get the list of students from the database, we are not going to make use of this one again. If I want to get the list of students, you understand? Shey this is oh, it's even course. It's course register, right? Is it course we did? What about student reg? If you want to do for student reg too, you can come here. You have interface. I just copy the name of the class. I will now say okay, extend JPA repository. So integer. Remember, if the primary key is long, you put long there. So I will now inject this one into where I want to. So in any controller, if I have more than multiple controller and I want to use this one, let's say I have another controller, all I have to do is to inject it. Inject me. Let me call it student rep so that it will just have the same name. I'll press Ctrl Shift I.
So as much as possible.
Yes, but there is a way to do this instead of you to call this, but I will show you. Do you get it? Now, assuming I want to get the list of students here, that we say list of students. If you look at here, what you are expecting is this, right? Right?
Yes, sir.
What you want to return to student. You now say okay, list is equal to. Remember that student repo. Student repo. Eh? If you say it student repo dot find all will give you the list of students. But here you write select all from this. So because you extend this JPA repository,
Instead of using those commands in MySQL.
we are still going to use, don't get me wrong, you are still going to write custom code. But you will see how to write it here. You understand? Do you people understand what we are doing?
Yes, you are getting it. Sir,
Afis, do you get it? See, using this method, you are not the one that created it.
it's from the repo.
Now, immediately you extend this guy, it has save, delete, update, and retrieve for you. I don't know if you get it. Okay, now look at it. Shey we said student list, right? So what you are expecting is not here. It's not student. What you are expecting is what? Student what? Reg. What I'm saying is the other time we get the list, we get this list, but now the list is coming from database. Instead of you to write your own repository and call it and let's say list student, I'm telling you that it already have a method called find all, that it will now you will now use it to fetch the list of students. And when I fetch it, I push it here. So remember that the first thing you need to do is you configure this. You configure this. We have configured this already so that you make connection to this and this. So let's try and run our, and we've enabled this one. Let's try and run it. Did you added some details into the table, right? All this. So we're expecting all this to come out. Let's wait for this. This is Spring Boot, Spring Boot. When you hear about Spring Boot, ordinarily, if you are using EJB, you will have written much. You see now it's connecting to database because here it has already connected to database directly. So if I go to that Swagger now, I don't even need to refresh anything because Swagger is still Swagger. You understand? Because I've not, I can just say reload. Can you see all the details coming from database directly? I don't know if you people get it. Do you get it?
Yes, sir.
Do you get it?
Yes.
This one make life easier. So now, let's say I want to find all the students from engineering department. You understand? Spring Boot is better in the sense that look at it. Look at this. You know, this is department, this is email, this is username, this is, so it has some custom method. Since I know what I want to find is a list, right? I can just say list. That's a find by. This find by is a convention. Put department. Uh, Department based on the name that is here, but it must start with capital letter. But take note, if you have department info, it's going to be department info. But if it is capital, if it is lowercase, the first one will be capital, while all other one will follow the normal case. Do you people get it? So that it will be able to see it. That's another query you can get. So you now begin to say find by what? Department. I can put any string here, department. It means that anytime I call this method, if I pass any department here, it will return all the students under that department. Do you understand? You can say, okay, list two, go again, say find by what? Email. Just pass email here. Do you people get what we are saying? So let's go and implement these two methods in our controller.
So if you are finding by ID now, that will be just be.
Find by ID is automatic. We have it already. As we extend this repository, we already have it. Let me show you all the method that all those delete this. It has everything. This is student, right? Let me now show you another request. List student. I can put another so that it will separate it.
Okay.
Get student by department. It means that anytime I'm fetching student by department, I need to pass a string what? Whatever name I call it, still, you understand? Now I have to say, okay, this one dot what? Since find by, can you see it? There is find by ID. That one is automatic. Find by department. I can just pass department there. But anytime you are passing something from, let me change the URL. It depends on you. It depends on how you want it. Let me change the endpoint. Anytime you are passing something from, it is mandatory that you put a request parameter. You answer at request param. So you just make it the same name. At request param is necessary. Otherwise, when you pass this thing directly, it will return empty. This is a convention you need to follow. If I want to find by another thing again, I will put comma. Pass. You know that this is a method with parameter. Forget about this. You understand that this is a method with parameter. But you have to put this because you want to receive this. See, the name of this one may be different. I can say depart. This one is the very important stuff. Do you get it? But for the case, I normally make it to be what? The same. So it means that if I reload I think this guy must have reload. So because we added a new endpoint, let's reload. You see another endpoint now. It's asking me that it's a query parameter I need to add. Anything you say as request parameter is a query parameter department. So it means that I have to put department here. So let's try and say, okay, we want somebody from fixes. So it means if I put fixes here, right? If I search, to give me. Do you people understand what we are doing or you don't understand? Do you understand it? Another way you can do it is if you don't want to, we are just doing search. Let's try and do delete. But we normally delete by what? ID. You understand? Do you get it? You don't, everybody is keeping quiet.
Sir, we will get it.
You now say instead of get mapping, it's going to be at delete what? Mapping. The URL here, I'm going to make this one to be delete. There are two ways you pass. Please give me my. We pause it. Pause it at this point.
Okay, we post it. Olùgbé tá à ń sì ṣe bọ̀ lẹ́sìn wá ti
No.
post it.
Jamila.
Àyà tèmi gan já ni.
So this is delete. Let me explain again. Anytime you want to delete, you mark the method to be what? A delete operation. I want to delete the record by what? ID. You understand? Let's remove this one. So I'm deleting by ID. The first thing, anytime you want to delete, you first check if the record exists. So you now check if the record is present. That is when you now invoke delete operation. After the delete, you return this. Otherwise, you return this. You understand? So let's reload our browser so that we have another endpoint there. Can you see now? We have delete there. Can you see it? If I pass ID, let's say I pass 30 there, for instance, can say record not found. If I pass 1 there, right? Can say record successfully deleted. Do you get it? So if you now want to build a web application, if I give you this API that okay, anytime you want to add student, this is what you are going to send. So anytime you want to fetch student, if you fetch student, this is what you are going to get. You understand? Nobody will know that the database is not from your end. You see now the record we deleted has gone. We have just 4 records. Should we do add or we should leave it for now?
So let's just that will not be hard when we
Okay, let's
when we
pause.
eventually get
Let's
there.
stop